Come gather round the campfire and hear our ghostly tales of chilling terrors, darkest woes, and anything that goes bump in the night. So cuddle up with your best friend or dare it alone. The darkness is closing in and spirits are calling your name. This is Fireside Phantoms.
Carol, welcome back.
Hey, Holly. It's good to see you
It's
again.
good to see you too, my friend. It's so funny because I'm so used to seeing you every couple of weeks, and now I'm like, gosh, I haven't seen her for months.
I know.
How you doing?
Good. Well, you look amazing.
Thank you so much.
What's changed?
Well, I'm going to Hawaii in a couple of days.
Oh, fabulous. So by the time our listeners are hearing,
I'll be way back and I'll be depressed because
you'll be super tan.
Yeah. It's gonna
Hopefully.
be great.
Hopefully it won't rain the whole time. I'm not jinxing her, by the way. Not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's supposed to be nice here the whole time we're there.
Of
which
course
makes
it
me mad
is.
because I'm like, no, that's not fair. You guys should have to suffer while I'm having the best time ever.
Well, it's season 3. Who
Yes.
knew that we would still be here?
Yeah, here we are.
doing this.
Back again.
Yes, and for this season, we've got some really fun things we're doing. We're retiring our paranormal and paranoid news episodes
At least for a little
this
while.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what we're going to be doing is we're doing our regular ghost stories and paranormal stories we find weekly. But then on the opposite weeks, we're going to do modern adaptations of old, like grim fairy tales and other spooky tales out of print.
Yeah, because we thought that would be kind of fun
Yeah.
and interesting. 'Cause some of those tales are really dark
And really morbid.
and pretty scary.
And we can add our own twist to them, which
Yeah.
will be fun. And
Yeah.
hopefully Josh will be on board for adding the sound effects.
Yeah.
So that is
Scare
our
it up.
upcoming season. But, we are also big fans of the tarot.
Yes.
And last year we did a Prophets of Doom episode. And I thought it would be fun for us to kick off our season for the top psychics and, people in the field of predicting the future
Yeah.
of what they foresee for 2022.
I know. I think that'll be very interesting. And I looked up a few people. I don't necessarily follow a lot of psychics or tarot readers online, but I found a few people. One person was recommended to me, and then found a couple other ones, and I'm like, well, let's see what they have to say about 2022. And I'm excited to hear what you found out about what's coming for 2022.
Let's run down some of my psychics here.
Okay.
One psychic I chose, and it's not because I'm a huge fan or anything, but her name is Judy Heavenly.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I chose her is, well, she's always featured in the National Enquirer, which, that's quite the source.
The truth teller.
It really is.
Yeah.
And because she has such a good track record of accurately predicting the Oscar winners of the upcoming year, I thought, well, let's choose her to, maybe see what she's seeing for 2022. And this last year, 2021, was no different. Judy was 100% accurate, choosing all of the top 6 awards for Best Picture,
Really?
Best Director, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actor.
Did she ever get like the wild cards right? Like that one year that Crash won? She got that right?
She gets like a lot of the upsets correct.
Huh. So I wonder, does she do tarot or is she just a psychic or what does she do?
I didn't research her that much. I think she's just a psychic.
Okay.
And for this year, she's got some really out there predictions.
Huh.
And, when people report on her predictions, she's not really as accurate in those outcomes. So she might just have an insider at the Oscars or something.
Sure.
But I just thought it might be fun. So she made her list for 2022. We're recording this episode February 6th. So some of these predictions may have already come true.
Okay.
Judy's predictions are, first of all, seeing an unexpected illness for Russia's president, Vladimir Putin.
Oh.
She doesn't say he's going to die from it. Other people are predicting he's going to be assassinated this
really?
year.
Really?
So other top psychics are seeing that.
Wow.
And she predicts the second half of the year very troubling for President Biden's health.
Hmm.
So she sees that more towards the second half of 2022.
One of the psychics that I was researching said in 2021, she thinks that Biden will be there for a while and that health concerns will remove him from office.
A lot of people are kind of leaning that way.
Yeah.
She also predicts Scotland will not join the European Union.
Mm.
She sees big trade deals in store for India,
Okay.
and the US will be part of those trade deals.
Okay.
COVID-19, she thinks, will be here to stay until the very end of 2022. And I know you and I really thought we'd be kind of out of this by spring. I felt like Omicron especially would
Yeah.
be kind of a
I
no-brainer.
I think it'll remain topical,
Mhm.
but will it be the threat that it was in 2020? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And she feels that way too. She thinks it'll be flare-ups with different variants still happening.
Yeah.
She predicts Republicans will win back the House in
Okay.
2022,
Okay.
and that this will be the year that Prince Charles will take over the throne. She thinks in June,
Okay.
because
Good.
her feeling is that Queen Elizabeth will suffer from a fall.
Oh.
And from what I've heard, she still rides horses.
Really?
So
That's impressive.
pretty amazing that she's doing that.
I'm sad about the Queen dying because I like her, but I also got a prediction that's very similar to that, but not the specifics of it. But the Queen would die this year and Prince Charles would take over.
I think that's kind of an easy one.
Yeah,
To
I
be
mean,
honest,
she's
like,
97 or something, and her husband died, and that just really when you lose your lifelong partner, I think that really takes the wind out of a lot of people's sails. I know it did for my grandmother when my grandfather passed away. I think she just was like, oh, what's the point anymore? Honestly.
Yeah.
She died a couple of years after he did, and I think she was just like, whatever. I think they die of broken hearts.
So Judy feels that when Prince Charles takes over the throne, he's going to do a massive cut in staff. There's a prediction that he will reduce the monarchy to only immediate family members to save money. A lot of people have been kind of critical on the fact that the monarchy is so huge.
They have a lot of money.
A lot of extended family.
All those big houses.
Yes, and there's been, some feeling like, hey, why are we doing this? So
Yeah.
I think he's gonna make a good choice by seeing to that. And a lot of psychics think he will not be long on the throne, and that they're actually predicting in a few years the monarchy will no longer exist.
Really?
They're gonna disband it.
So then William will not have to be king or worry about being king.
I don't think
Interesting.
so.
Huh. So they'll just be a wealthy family that blends in with all the other families.
Right.
Huh.
And it might be, 20 years from now, but in the history of the monarchy, that's still a short time in the future. So
Yeah, that's very short.
we'll see it. We'll
Wow.
see if that comes true.
Yep.
So this is pretty cool. Judy Heavenly predicts many strange reports this year of unusual paranormal events.
Yay, Judy.
Yes.
Woohoo.
And more of a focus on what she calls spirit phenomena. And we really saw this last year happening as well.
Yeah, well, all the UFO sightings and
Mm-hmm.
the government coming out saying, yeah, we don't know what that is.
Right. And more scientists being interested in proving the afterlife and
Yeah.
the existence of our
Yes.
spirit.
Yes.
So pretty cool.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on the people who have near-death experiences. And I mean, all it does for me, I already believe that you go someplace after you die. It
Mhm.
just reaffirms it because so many of them have similar experiences, but then they also have very different experiences. And I don't know. I just feel like I really do believe that when you die, you go someplace. I just think we're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only go and change forms.
I agree. And I think we're going to actually explore that a little bit more in an episode that we're going to do
Yeah,
this year. And I would love to
do
hear
that.
more stories. I
Yeah.
think it's really inspiring.
I do too.
Now, this one's pretty cool. She predicts Amazon,
Okay.
who already owns everything,
Mhm.
will launch its own internet service.
Okay.
I
could
believe
see
it.
that.
I
Yeah.
believe that.
Give Google a run for
Mhm.
its money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also sees trouble in Chicago, where ironically we've been predicting with the Mothman around
Right.
some chaos going
Huh.
to be happening. And she feels that there will be a huge fire there, so big it will
Hmm.
cause immense damage to the city.
Really, a big Chicago fire.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need to track all of this year. So if we see a headline that
Mm-hmm.
jives, we'll be like, oh my God, it happened.
I know we're so bad at like going
Yeah,
back. I can't even remember
remembering.
what I said yesterday.
I know. We're going to have to try to remember everything predicted so we can say so-and-so got a
Yeah.
hit. Yeah.
Or maybe our listeners can track us a
Tell
little
us
better.
and say, oh, guys, remember your
Yeah.
first episode? We're like, no.
Yeah, we don't. Sorry.
We were high at the time.
No.
What are you well, I was high. Carol was drunk. You
Employers,
know.
that is not true. Whatever she's saying, I'm always sober. Thank you.
You're gonna have to fire me and give me unemployment. Thanks, employer.
So she also believes China will make its move on Taiwan and the U.S. won't try to stop their takeover.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting because I that's surprising. I would think we would try and stop that.
Doesn't China? Don't we report to China now? So I'm thinking, take Taiwan.
Well, I know Walmart is selling Chinese flags.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
You know, I think they see the future more
Just
than
a
we
matter
do.
of time.
So something that most people don't really think about when they think of psychics or predictions is the Farmer's Almanac.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the fact that this publication has been in circulation since 1792 lends credence to its yearly predictions.
Yep.
The almanac is saying for most of the country, the winter will be bone-chilling cold, one of the longest we have ever seen in years. And it has about an 80% accuracy.
So I'm showing Carol our weather app for predicted weather for the next week or so, and it's sunny and
it's
almost
beautiful
60.
and no rain.
Well, not until a couple Sundays from now, or maybe next Sunday. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Oregon tends to do this thing where it gets rainy in about mid-October and colder, and then by the time we hit December, we might seeing a little skiff of snow here and there, maybe some ice. And then January is kind of cold and dark and rainy. And then February, we start getting these bumps of sunlight, and then all the flowers start to shoot up.
And then we get a huge cold freeze that kills everything.
Yeah, everything dies because all of a sudden, oh my God, it's still winter.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's another almanac that's even more accurate. Ireland's Old Moor Almanac, and they've had some really accurate predictions in the past, predicting the death of Pope Leo XIII, specifically in the month of July in 1903. I know that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But they've also stated one year that a snowstorm would hit Ireland in late June, and the Irish Derby would not be canceled despite the snow. And I think that's really weird to have that specific of a prediction. And it all came true.
Yeah, that is very specific.
So I want to see what they were predicting for 2022. And they're predicting more than just the weather. They predict that the economy of the European Union booms, but China's economy tanks this year.
Oh, interesting.
We will hear news regarding Malaysia's missing flight MH370.
Oh, well, they found parts of it, right?
Didn't they already come out with news?
I thought they found it or figured out where it went because there's stuff washing up on beaches and stuff.
I wonder when the almanac actually came out, because sometimes they print their stuff before the end of the year.
I think we should get jobs there. Do you think they hire tarot readers?
Would we have to move to Ireland and get an Irish accent?
I would love to move to Ireland. Are you kidding me? That'd be awesome.
You'd fit in there, Red.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm not redheaded.
I know. I'm totally
just in my soul.
I'm totally joking. They also predict medical advances in the news will be shocking. We will have the ability to grow organs from our own cells.
Wow.
Blind people will be given the ability to see.
Oh, thank God. My eyes, your eyes are shitty.
God,
yes.
my eyes are horrible.
Oh my God. I hope that one comes true.
Yes. And people who've been paralyzed will be given the ability to walk.
So does that mean that Elon Musk's brain Neuralink is going to go online and we're all going to be able to connect to the internet with
Only
our brains?
those with superhuman powers that have been vaccinated with the microchip will be able to inherit the good health of the superpowers.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah. No, obviously, Holly, these miracles mean Jesus is coming back, obviously.
That would be cool because I think Jesus is a cool guy.
Now, virtual sex is also, I know, got your attention.
Yes.
Is going to help couples with long distance relationships and those who have low libido issues.
Huh. So you've seen Demolition Man? Sandra
No.
Bullock and Sylvester Stallone, and they have virtual sex in
No,
that
I
movie.
haven't seen that.
They put on one of those big VR
Uh-huh.
glass headsets, and then they like stand like they're sitting across the room from each other, like far across the
Yeah.
room, and they're having sex through the virtual reality. That is exactly where we're headed.
I think so. Both Judy Heavenly and the Almanac predict pizza delivery service by drone.
Now that's going to be interesting because if you see a drone holding a pizza flying to someone's house, you're going to shoot it down and eat their pizza.
You know, your mind thinks exactly the same way
I
mine
know.
does.
We share a brain.
And I love pizza. So, of course, I'm going to shoot it down.
Yeah, of course you are. And so is everybody else. And they're going to be fighting over the free pizza.
The thing is, I don't like pizza that's been damaged. You know, I don't even like it when the delivery driver gives me my pizza and it's slid around in the box and there's like one piece that like the cheese has slid off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd eat it after I've shot it down. I don't know if I could do that. It
You'd have
has to
to-
be pristine,
You'd have to give it to your dogs.
I guess. They do like pizza. So the Almanac also states there will be a second pandemic this year unrelated to the first,
Oh my God.
and an accident or scare in space with a tourist spaceship. Many cultures will never return to kissing or shaking hands as a greeting.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I don't think our culture did that anyway.
We shake hands.
Oh yeah, that's
and
true.
we would do like the buddy hug.
yeah,
Back pat.
I think hugs will always still be around,
Okay.
but people aren't getting like too close anymore.
Right.
From an astrologist perspective, we will have 4 Mercury retrogrades this year.
Uh-oh.
So predictions say this will bring issues with lots of electronics, big cyber attacks. I kind of feel like that's going to happen. The
Okay.
more that we move online and do everything online, it's a natural thing to happen, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. And it's not a year to buy expensive electronics. We can expect power issues as well, with many areas around the world spending a period of time without any power source. A lot of people think, you know, our grid is going to get attacked. Our
Well, that
power
would be a
grid.
good way to really get us because without that grid, we just kind of fall apart and then we have to start having conversations with each other.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be more like how it was like in California, where they're just going to need to save on energy and have periods of rolling blackouts.
That sucked. And that was, have you ever seen the movie Enron, Smartest Guys in the Room?
Yes.
So that was like, looked like it was done intentionally by
Mhm.
Enron to fuck over California. And it
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Yeah, that's gross. I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, those documentaries are pretty telling.
Yeah, they
Um,
are. Yeah.
You know, with that whole electronics and Mercury retrograde, really travel will have many issues this year, especially mechanical problems with planes, navigation failures we'll hear.
You don't need to be
And
telling
you're
me this
gonna
3
get on a
days
plane here.
before Hawaii.
So I'm just saying, bring your parachute and all will be well.
Great.
Sit next to an emergency exit. No, I'm kidding. It'll all be good. It'll all be good.
Oh my gosh.
One of my favorite astrologers, Baraka Goldsmith, has predicted battles between boundaries and freedom this year, throwing off unnecessary structure. She predicts this will be a year of extremes, as if we haven't already had extremes.
More extremes.
But she thinks in April we'll see especially a lot of water issues, floods, huge storms. She doesn't believe in using astrology predictions for very specific things, but by studying the stars, she feels we can get a roadmap to help navigate our lives. If you really want to know what's going to happen, all you need to do is look at the topics of the World Economic Forum,
Really?
because every year they do topics, and then the next year we see that, oh, coincidentally, they just had a whole forum on these issues.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And last year, the topic is that they were all, you know, really pushing was on preventing environmental crises. So if top leaders worldwide are sounding the alarm, then we can expect dramatic earth and weather events.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, all things ruled by the sign of Taurus, yay, Taurus, will be the theme this year. I am not an astrologist, but it has to do with the North and South nodes being in the sign of Taurus in the North node and Scorpio in the South node. And people will be filled with passion to make changes regarding food, finances, and all things to do with security. Venus, the planet which rules Taurus, will bring all the sensual things we crave and a desire for coming together to solve our problems. Love, peace, and harmony. Well, that sounds good, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Everything that brings us comfort and pleasure, we will strive to create around us. In April, it seems there is also an opportunity for much healing and uniting of humanity, much in the same way we all came together after 9/11.
Oh, okay. So
So, some big event, and then we all
aliens.
get together.
I hope
You
it's
know,
aliens.
nobody has. I was really disappointed. None of my sources predicted aliens.
Damn it. Damn it.
I know. I was so like,
So one of those videos I've been watching on YouTube, the guy had a near-death experience, and he said that he was told that yes, of course, there are other alien entities out in the universe and everything, and we're all at different levels of evolution,
yeah.
but we are not supposed to engage with one another.
Well, that's what I've been saying. I
Mhm.
don't think aliens are a good thing that we want here.
Well, I don't know if they're a bad thing, but I think that the universal law is
They're
that we're
bad.
all spaced out in the universe like we are because we are not supposed to be able to engage with one another. And that's why the aliens don't make contact and they stay up in the sky and observe from a distance, is
Mhm.
because they are higher evolved than we are.
Mhm.
And they know that by coming down and engaging with us, they will mess with our evolutionary process. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve
Yeah.
as a humanity. And
Because
we're
if they give us technology too soon before we're able to handle it, it
Right.
can actually cause our own self-sabotage
sure,
and
or
destruction.
self-demise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, some of the things that I've been watching and the information that people get about just all the
Their
things.
theories
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Well, this year especially, Baraka and many astrologists say the spotlight is definitely going to be on the United States. Because in late February, we have our Pluto return, which happens every 250 years.
Right.
But the United States is also, starting in February, will have its Neptune opposition, which is also really rare and only happens every 165 years. So the whole world will be holding its breath watching America.
Right.
They predict this is going to be a dramatic revolution redefining our Constitution.
Yeah, would not surprise me.
We are currently recording this episode in early February, so the energy is kicking off before this episode drops in March. However, it is an energy that does last the entire year. For example, the Pluto return in France marked the death of Napoleon. The Pluto return in Russia marked the death of Stalin. So it will be something to do with the foundation of how we run this country and our values as a nation. The United States is going to have a constitution crisis. It's interesting because I don't think anybody wants to come out and say civil war,
Yeah.
but I think it could lead to civil war. But there's other benevolent influences going on that can help actually bring these ideas to a more moderate consensus, to where agreements are aligned with individuals, to where it's not just anger.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, because Pluto is involved, and that can be surprising and explosive and all kinds of energy. So it just depends.
Wow.
Pluto rules big banks and big corporations. So
Okay.
chances are there's also going to be a great overhaul, including the private organization of the Federal Reserve. We can even see our reserve currency changing.
Okay.
And if you have a chance, you should read the book The Fourth Turning by William Strauss and Neil Howe.
Yeah, I know.
So in the book, they talk about how in history there are these 100-year cycles that keep repeating, and they always end in a culmination of complete upheaval and social crisis, similar to the American Revolution.
Yeah.
The Civil War and World War II are also examples of these cycles coming to an end on the fourth turning.
Yeah.
And once we go through these difficult cycles, a new era will begin, ushering in a golden age of invention, peace, and prosperity. This energy will shift through the next 80 to 100 years, when we then repeat the cycle of the fourth turning once more.
Yep.
So we are in that fourth turning
Yeah.
now, these
Yeah.
authors think. So
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
I think they're right. I mean, gosh, I have never seen so much upheaval,
Mhm.
and the two sides are no longer speaking.
Yeah.
But I think what they don't understand is they need each other for this to work. They need to
Mhm.
have that balance between both sides for it to work. And we shouldn't be like, let's get rid of this side just so this side can take over. I don't think that that's okay. So I hope that they are able to understand that. I hope that they're able to come to an agreement and recognize the value of the other side, even if they don't agree.
Yeah, well, I think that we got into this situation where when we are electing candidates or we're trying to push our agenda forward, when we don't get what we want, we think we should get everything we want. And that's
Mm,
not how society works.
no.
Society is like a marriage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't always get what you
You
want.
have to compromise.
You compromise continually, you find a balance. Maybe, not everybody's going to like the
Yeah.
president for 4 years, and
Right.
that's okay because then you get a balance and a change the next 4 years.
Right.
Unless you're got a complete corrupt,
Right.
political system where then you're just being controlled with the same agenda. Not doesn't matter how you vote,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
it'll be interesting how this comes about.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to check out the confusing and completely dramatic predictions of Nostradamus for
Oh,
2022.
of course.
Because, he's always accurate, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, of course he is. Psilocybin.
Yeah,
Not psilocybin, penicillin. He
penicillin.
probably predicted psilocybin too.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
face
he
it.
probably did. At the top of most people's interpretation of his quatrains is the death of a dictator, and many think this is Kim Jong-un from North Korea.
How old is he? He's not that old.
He's not that old, but he's been having health problems. Somebody's came out and really showed pictures of him losing a lot of weight. He disappeared for a while from the, news. People weren't seeing him out in public. He's back, but yeah, a lot of people think he's got some sort of health issue.
Oh, interesting.
Or he might be replaced, like taken out.
Can they do that in that
I don't know.
country? Does he have a sibling that would step in? Because does he have kids?
Yeah, he has a sister. And
Oh.
they've predicted his sister would be the next in line.
So
to
North
rule.
Korea would let a woman do that?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
If she cut her hair. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wore pants, a lot of pantsuits.
Yeah. Many believe, that Nostradamus did accurately predict the start of the 2020 pandemic. Future events, possibly this year, include his quote, "Fire do I see from the sky shall fall." I'm thinking that is probably a big miss from last year. That asteroid that narrowly flew by us. Everybody thought, oh, that was probably what he was predicting and saw.
Okay.
I'm hoping. Otherwise, it's the space station falling from the sky on fire or something like that.
Okay. Interesting. Let's put a pin in that one.
Or a solar flare coming from the sun and causing
All sorts of problems.
issues. Who knows? He also predicts the invasion of France this year and war reaching Europe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some people think, if Putin invades the Ukraine and a deal is made because, people think it's really just a power move to grab energy sources for their gas, natural gas.
Right.
And if he makes deals with countries of the EU, but leaves other countries out, it could be really detrimental for the EU unless they all share in that trade, right?
Okay.
France, it could just be what he was seeing is a mass rising of chaos in that country. And we know they've had huge protests. They don't like Macron right now.
Yeah.
So they're kind of wanting him to step down. So we'll see. He also predicts a huge issue of inflation this year. Spoken in his quatrain, "Honey shall cost far more than candle wax, so high the price of wheat." There's also a reference to food shortages, even saying some will think about eating their fellow man.
Whoa.
Yikes. Which I think that's a complete mistake. I think what Nostradamus really meant is there will be invading neighbors' homes for food. It's pretty dire.
Yeah.
I mean, Nostradamus doesn't mess around with the doom
Yeah.
prophecies.
No, he likes that dark stuff.
So, Holly, that's pretty much my rundown from what I've gathered from my
Okay.
sources. Tell me some of your favorite psychics and what they predict for 2022.
So I followed a woman named Nikki. She's known as Psychic Nikki from Toronto. I don't know what her last name is, but if you Google Psychic Nikki from Toronto, you find her stuff.
Okay.
So she's also clairvoyant, clairaudient, and she's an astrologer as well. She was been pretty accurate, so that's why she has a pretty strong following of people. She predicted the 9/11 World Trade Center attack,
Hmm.
and she's predicted some like smaller kind of random stuff. But anyway, she says that there's going to be a horse that will run through Toronto
Interesting.
because she's Canadian, and so she says that it's going to run through Toronto and it's going to create a bunch of chaos and havoc and stuff like that.
A horse.
A horse, yes. So look for that.
Okay.
Okay. She says we're going to have a major market crash like the one we had in 1929, but we're
Mhm.
going to recover quite quickly. She sees it as a crash that's both financial and psychically crashing. So I think mentally and fiscally we'll be having a real big crash. She does say there could be a third world war coming and definitely more protests.
Mhm.
But she does say she thinks the pandemic should be over by the end of the year. So that's good.
Yeah, a lot of them are predicting that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's good. She said that people are going to party a lot because they just want things to go back to normal. She says it's going to be kind of like the Roaring 20s was.
Right.
People just want things to be normal again. Here's a random one. The largest sea turtles in the world will be discovered, but they'll be discovered in several parts of the world. So we're going to be looking for some large sea turtles. She says a penguin will save a person's life.
Wow.
Okay. And then she also sees very big earthquakes happening, like around 9.6 to 9.8 size earthquakes, like real big ones. She, Carol, sees a meteorite hitting the earth, just like what you just said
Whoa.
Nostradamus had predicted.
Oh no. Does she say where?
No, she just says it'll hit, but I don't think it's going to create the devastation that we would expect it to. But it's just like a basic meteorite, not like a huge asteroid or something.
Mm-hmm.
She sees Justin Trudeau getting a divorce and stepping down as the Prime Minister of Canada. That's pretty big. That's
That
a
is
pretty big, laying it all on the line prediction right there.
Totally.
She sees Adele getting engaged. She does see the Queen passing in 2022, and Prince Charles will become king. She also, Carol, sees controversy around Meghan and Harry, which of course is
Of
not
course. That's a no-brainer.
yeah, not surprising. But she says there could be a divorce between them in the future. And she says that Meghan Markle may announce that she's going to run for president of the United
Oh.
States in 2024.
And then she's going to divorce Harry and marry Kanye, who's also going to be running for
And
president.
together,
They will bring balance
They will.
to the nation.
it's going to be pretty amazing. She also sees Meghan Markle embracing either Buddhism or Scientology,
Oh my God.
which is
Why
crazy.
is she obsessed with Meghan Markle?
I don't know. And that Meghan might reunite with her father. So some of her predictions won't necessarily happen in 2022, but they may eventually happen. She sees visions and she hears vibes, and that's kind of how she gets her information. So then, Carol, I also checked out this really cute couple. They live up in Federal Way, Washington, which is not that far away from us. They actually have a podcast called The Psychic Spectrum where they go on there and they talk about their predictions and what they think is going to happen. Now, I haven't had the opportunity yet to listen to them, but I did watch a little news clip that was done on them.
Mhm.
Oh, and they also have a psychic showcase at the Poodle Dog restaurant in Fife, which I think I'd like to go see and maybe try some of the poodle that's on the menu.
Oh my God.
But anyway, they said that they predict that U.S. politics are going to explode in October. And
Mhm.
something really chaotic will happen in France.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Huh?
that backs up what Nostradamus was saying about
Yup.
France.
Yeah.
They are also predicting a very big downswing in the stock market
Right.
and that our money will maybe hit pretty hard for a bit, but it will also rebound quickly, just like Nikki Psychic, that psychic said. But Sharon thinks that overall things for 2022 will be a little bit better. So that's good.
Yeah.
For the most part, it definitely hit on some of the things that you have predicted.
Well, this year numerology is saying, 2022 adds up to a 6 year, and the 6 year is much better than a 5 year. 5 year is the number of chaos and
Okay. Yeah.
unpredictability,
That's
and
yeah.
6 brings about more stability, structure, more creativity. It's an action number, so
Yeah.
people are really, rather than complaining about everything, they're actually coming out and actually handling things,
Yeah.
which is
That's
positive.
that's positive. And yeah, and the tarot, that's correct too. The number fives are usually the cards that are like wah wah, like it's
Wah.
either you're
Conflict
depressed or conflict or something. Usually
in
the
your
fives
middle of,
represent that.
yeah.
Yeah. So my last psychic that I followed, her name is Janine. She does tarot. She said she put her kids through college reading tarot cards, and so
Oh, go
curious
Janine.
to see what she says. I had a friend suggest her because they said she's pretty accurate. I watched a couple of her past videos and she was pretty accurate about some things, and then some things she was off, but I think that's normal for tarot readers and psychics. They hit some stuff and not others.
Right.
So anyway, she did a zodiac spread. So she put for 2022. So she put her cards in each of the houses. So in the and then she would look at the opposite card on the other side of the zodiac to see what the influences were. So it was kind of an interesting way that she did her spread.
That is interesting.
She said in the first house, she got the Knight of Cups, which for her means people will be following their hearts. They're going to quit their jobs and pursue creative endeavors, which we've seen a lot of. So many people have quit their jobs. They want to do more meaningful work and not just taking a paycheck. And we've seen now for the first time ever that there are more jobs than people in the United States. So in the second house, she has the King of Swords, which is getting educated about finances and money. The card across from it was the Nine of Pentacles. So, how do we become independent financially? Moving away from government and banks, having our money, independence, the people will take back their power from the elite who control the money. I like that. I hope she's right.
Absolutely.
The third house, she got the Queen of Swords, which is, I guess, the house of education. So, this is how we are thinking and what we are putting out into the world, what we are visualizing, what our intention is, how we want to feel, and what we want to manifest into our world. Boundaries developing, and I think you had mentioned boundaries in your predictions.
Right.
More discernment, asking questions, demanding their rights. Issues with offspring, as it's aspected by the Page of Cups. This will spike up a lot, she says. Things will be exposed, things that are happening to our kids, and people calling for justice. Now, I don't know what her belief system is in particular, but or what if that influences what she sees. I think it kind of does. I'm not really sure exactly what she's talking about, but there's a lot of people who can infer that in lots of different ways. So basically, children, what's happening to the children, and people calling to justice, what's happening to the children. Okay. The fourth house, she's got the sun, which is aspected by the Five of Cups. So that basically is home, she says. And I don't really know my astrology that well. So
Yeah,
what's
that's home.
home and mom and family. She said that will be disappointing. People will feel disappointed and let down, but this will eventually be stopped. So again, just kind of a disappointed aspect over the sun, which is happiness and heart and love and joy, and the best card you can probably get in the tarot, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
So kind of that has a cloud over it, I guess. The fifth house, romance, creativity,
And kids too.
and kids, that is got the moon, and what's aspecting it is the High Priestess card. So secrets are coming out in the daily routine. She says we may lose some people, but not the numbers that are predicted. And I think she's inferring COVID. She said something may be revealed about health, and it won't be what was portrayed to us originally. So she thinks that the numbers will be overblown to what actually happened, or that's kind of the sense I got. And I think she's referring to COVID. I don't remember if she actually said COVID or not. So the sixth relationship or sixth house, the house of relationship, She has the Two of Wands, which is looking at new territory, new relationships, reconstructing what you want to have within your relationship. And it's also aspected with the Knight of Cups, which is following your heart and your intuition. So, really creating better, more fulfilling relationships. The seventh house, she has the Nine of Pentacles. We are going to be more financially sovereign, more independent. We are more fluent financially and more independent, spending money on independent companies. Things will get smaller and local. So we're going to, I think, really be building back our small businesses, and the small businesses will thrive during this
Well,
time.
that's really encouraging. I
Yeah.
like that.
I do too. The ninth house of travel, she has the Page of Cups, which to her means travel will open up again in March. The 10th house, she has the Five of Cups and the Sun again, but this time it's the Five of Cups leading. We get more footing around getting our rights back, exposed to crimes against humanity, and emotional disappointment and discovery. So basically, just I think she's saying that things are going back to normal, and that whatever corruption was exposed will come to light, essentially. And then the 11th house, she has the Three of Wands, and the aspect card is the Six of Wands. So, big victory, more creativity, more people will be waking up to what we almost lost. Still a lot of work to do. The economy will rebuild in a local way. So, again, putting emphasis on local, smaller companies and businesses. And finally, the 12th house, she has the High Priestess, which is the deep subconscious. So, secrets. Many people who have died. Now, this is the one that I thought was really weird. Many people who have died or didn't actually die. So famous people who died but didn't
Tupac.
actually die. Yeah, Tupac coming back. But they didn't want to be part of something, so they left, and now it will be revealed that they actually did not die. That's a little bit of a stretch for me. I don't expect Betty White to show up anytime soon. Oh, psych, I'm fine.
Well,
You
it
know.
is very suspicious. She died right before her 100th birthday.
know, it's
I
kinda
mean, that's
interesting.
kind of rude
Right.
to leave the planet when we were all like preparing for her big birthday
That's right.
bash.
Thanks a lot, Betty.
But yeah.
But anyway, so that one's a little bit off the rim for me. She has Nine of Cups in the middle. She says that's really good for humanity. Again, she's emphasizing secrets exposed. And then she threw a couple clarifiers in there. She got the Empress and the Three of Cups. So she took this to mean famous and powerful women, royal families, queen types, the queen herself. Things will come out about her. We will be more involved in our food production, ground root level around food. We are moving away from corporations, preparing our food. We're going more local, like farmers markets. We're growing our own food. We'll have more abundance. We'll share more. And then the end of 2022, people are typically more abundant, even though we will have some setbacks. So basically, that's kind of
that's really different from some of the other psychic predictions, which say we're gonna have the Great Depression again, or some a lot more gloomy financial outcome.
I kind of am with the Nikki psychic, and when she says we'll have this major crash, like you had people say and I had people say, but we recover quickly, because I think that people are not. It's kind of like, I think when the crash happened in 1929, people didn't know how to respond to it, and I feel like now people will. It feels like the stock market crashes a lot. Like they'll be on the news, oh my God, the Dow fell 1 billion points today. And then the next day, everything's back to normal.
Well, they have a printing press for money.
That's right. Well, that's bad with the inflation and stuff.
It is.
You've seen the cost of food. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think at some point we're getting, the whole world really understands that we can't keep printing money, and
no, it just, the value of the money just goes south, and then nothing's affordable anymore. And you can see that in buying a car, you can see it buying food or houses or just wood. Like, The Rock, he wants to, not the famous person, my boyfriend, The Rock, wants to put new floors down on his house, and it's just ridiculously expensive. It's like, oh my God. So I don't know, but that's what I got in terms of the people I followed and what they had to say, and it'll be very interesting. I want to see if a penguin saves a person.
Yeah. I would love to kind of talk a little bit about what I came up with before we do our tarot cards on specific things that they have discussed, because I'd like to see what our spreads say
Yeah.
about some of these top items that we're
Yeah.
curious about.
Yeah.
But when I was kind of meditating and doing my own kind of like what's in store for 2022, I have been hearing from people and reading about people's dreams. I'm interested in dream interpretation, and I feel like there's a lot of knowledge that we can get through our dreams.
Right.
Well, I believe this year people will have the opportunity to revisit past relationships and find closure with people. And this is because many people are getting released from karma and their karmic patterns.
Oh.
People will start to develop almost supernatural abilities, being the ability to communicate kind of in a spirit, telepathically almost, through our meditative states and even dreams. And I'm getting this because many people are saying they're having really intense dreams lately. People have been talking about, hey, I don't ever remember my dreams. I'm really remembering them now. And I'm dreaming of these long forgotten people who are now appearing in your dreams or on your mind for some reason.
Mm.
And it's strange to people because they're like, why am I dreaming of this person? I haven't thought about this person in years. I feel this is due to you needing to wrap up that karmic soul tie and say goodbye, because you no longer need to keep repeating those lessons. And some of you will make the choice to return to that relationship, especially, if they're your twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, it's not the right choice or the path forward. And we saw lots of souls leaving the planet last year. I believe this will continue this year also. And that's why we're making these subconscious goodbyes,
Okay.
because I believe some people will choose to leave the planet. It's their soul's time, and others will choose to move on. But regardless, I think a lot of us don't need karmic lessons anymore with our relationships. I
Right.
think we're able to now move forward without, doing that over and over again, lifetimes and
Right.
lifetimes. If you believe in reincarnation, not everybody does.
Right. Yeah.
The positive side of all these astrological influences this year really lend to structure in our daily life. So I feel this is the year where habits that you have struggled with for a lifetime can really change. You will really be able to see freedom in those bad habits.
Huh. Okay.
So I do believe our planetary energy will hit rock bottom in 2022, but it will be a short rock bottom. I
Yeah.
think we'll have events that will shake it up.
Yep.
We're going to come together. I did get 3 words.
Okay.
Nintendo. I know that's weird.
Okay.
Nuclear and nuts. I know. Nuts. Well, and I kind of was thinking, okay, what is all this about? I think Nintendo, the company Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
might have a big change or a big announcement. I think something's going to happen with that company. I don't know why that word popped into my head.
Maybe they're going to go nuclear and everything's going to turn to nuts.
I don't think it's connected with the word nuclear, but I think if anything, they're going to tank this year.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
I could be wrong. I could be
Gaming
wrong.
is such a big thing, though.
I know. I don't know. I have just this weird feeling.
So, what do you think nuclear means?
So I think nuclear. We're gonna have a nuclear scare. I do. I hate to say it, but I feel that that's what
brings
this
us
is.
together and stops us from going to civil war.
I don't know if that's it, but I do think it might be something similar to what happened with Fukushima. Like maybe some company is going
not
to
an intentional. We're going to kill you with nukes, but more of a oh my god, our factory's melting down and there's nuclear waste everywhere.
I don't know, but I think it's going to be a scare.
Okay.
I think people are going to be terrified of some sort of nuclear thing.
Great.
I don't know if it's going to be an actuality, but that word is in my mind.
Okay.
And then N for nuts. I think we're going to have random nuts, which I know this is really weird, but I think we're going to have some crazy, people just going nuts for no reason.
That's been happening for
year-
a while. People have been going nuts around Portland for a while. There's
Yeah.
so much mental health stuff going
And I
on.
think, yeah, I think it's mental health. I think it's stress. I think
Hmm.
but it's with people that we wouldn't guess going nuts. But that's my 3 words. Did you have any areas that you really want to do the cards on for 2022?
So I think it would be interesting to read on the economy and what's going to happen with the economy.
I do too.
What about you? Do you want to do a different reading, or do you want to do the economy,
I
or
think out of all of that, I would like to know about the economy
okay?
because, my mind's on my money, my money's on my mind.
Why don't you
No.
do, well, you could do the economy and I can do politics and
Perfect.
see what's going to happen in American politics.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Bye.
So I was doing what is the political spectrum going to look like for the United States in 2022, and what I got was kind of interesting. I'm using the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot by Lindsay Silverman. Thank you, Lindsay, for your contribution to the tarot community. Here's what I got, Carol. I got the Queen of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and in this deck, the Mystic, but it is equivalent to the Hierophant. The Queen of Pentacles, that to me represents our economy and all the people within the economy. So in the description of the card in the book, it says, look at the mushrooms. There's these little mushrooms down on the bottom in the ground. They're like every level counts, even the smallest things count to the higher, bigger things. So I think it's basically becoming more community centered. And like we had talked about earlier, we're going to be putting more emphasis on smaller businesses and smaller companies and trying to really build those up. But we still have this big overarching corporation type stuff happening. But we're trying to keep all those ships afloat and being able to spend our money in a way that helps everyone who's trying to achieve their dreams in their own business. So that's kind of how I see that Queen of Pentacles. Now I know queens represent women. So moving into the Two of Wands, I have polar opposites, which I think represent the two major parties in the United States, the Democrats and the Republicans. And in between them stands a girl who's got all the abundance in the world and the power to kind of control and steer things how they move forward. Well, our predictions that we had just discussed did say that President Biden might have to step down due to health concerns. I think Kamala Harris will be president of the United States.
It's interesting. I've seen a lot of astrologers talk about her chart
Mhm.
and that they see a rise in her success in the fall.
Yeah.
Of next
Yeah, and then
2022. So you could be right.
Yeah. So I think she is the Queen of Pentacles that are going to drive this economy, and then she's going to be put right in between these two big political parties. And then she's going to have the power to move it forward. She's going to have, in the book, it says you have influence and boldness. So I think she's going to be highly influential and bold in her decision making and her policy making. So I think that the economy is going to flourish. I think it's going to be very strong, even though it looks like we'll have a market crash. But I think the economy, for the most part, will be pretty good. I think she will take over the helm and she will figure out how do we build more abundance for everybody. And then I end with the Mystic. And so the Mystic is interesting because it says she illuminates a path where none exists. This card signifies a merging of spiritual and material realms in dynamic tension. So, like you said earlier, one of your predictors was that we are going to have a major overhaul of what the United States is and what we stand for and the values and all of those things. I think this means that we are going to see a major overhaul in how we have a certain value system and how we govern and how that plays out politically and financially for people. So I think that is true. I think that she will take it into this level where there's been no trail before. There will be one that exists now, and it's going to merge spiritual and material realms together. So I think it's a way, and I don't see it as a negative thing, though I'm not necessarily somebody who is supportive of some of the ideas on the left. And I also am not fully on the right. Like I'm in the middle. I'm right in the middle of
Hmm.
both parties. So I'm not saying one way or the other that I'm for this party and not that party. But some of the stuff that the left has come out, there's a lot of talk about things they want to do and try. I'm hesitant because I don't know if it can work in a country like this, but perhaps she can find a way to build a balance between both parties and both parties are satisfied because here in the Mystic card, we see these two moons in balance and we see the two keys together. So to me, that's bringing in this card in particular, there's duality. So she's trying to find a path that goes down the center of both and
Hmm.
brings both together. And maybe she'll do it. Maybe she'll succeed, and it'll help raise everybody up to where they want to be and make everyone happy. Now, of course, no one. That's never the case. Not everyone's always happy, but it might be the best shot at making everyone happy at the same time,
Hmm.
and not just like taking one group and saying let's put these people here and those people there. I think it's trying to balance both sides as best she can.
Interesting.
Whether or not she'll succeed at this, I don't know. But these cards all look relatively positive. At least the intention is positive, I think. But essentially, I see her taking over the helm and trying to build some kind of a economic system and political system that makes sure everyone is accounted for and taken care of. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And politically, I'm sure it'll create a lot of chaos. I don't have a chaos card here, but I think these are cards that lead up to whatever the aftermath might be of this decision making. So that's kind of where I see us going politically. What do you get?
Cool. I did my spread on the financial uh,
Right. Yes.
aspect of the United States. I'm using the Disney Villains Tarot deck and guidebook.
Yay! Who gave that to you, I wonder?
Yes, it was a gift from my dear sweet Holly.
Yay.
I love it. I drew the High Priestess, the Ten of Cups reversed, and the Seven of Swords, which is very interesting that I don't have any Pentacle cards for
the
my
economy,
reading,
right.
for the financial situation of our country. I was kind of like, what could this mean? Well, the High Priestess, I believe, is something we all know as a country, something is not right with our money. We keep paying all these taxes. Where's all the money going? Like,
Right.
why can't we we're getting bled out
Yeah.
from every
Yes,
angle. We're
that's
taxed on everything.
nickel and dime to death.
Yeah. So I think the High Priestess is saying to ourselves, okay, there is something going on here. We don't know what it is.
Mhm.
Something's not right with the way our money works. It doesn't seem like we can keep doing this or sustaining it. So
Mhm.
that's our starting point.
Okay.
The Ten of Cups reverse means there is going to be an emotional upset.
Yeah.
We are going to get very emotional this year about something regarding our finances, and it's going to cause us to be very, very scared, and our relationships might suffer from it. But I also drew the Seven of Swords, which means something very sneaky is happening.
Oh, really?
And I believe it'll be revealed that a lot of our money went to really bad things.
Yeah.
And was funding maybe even drugs or something that we'd be really shocked at.
Right.
Or it's not being handled in a way behind the scenes that we were aware of. Maybe changes are happening, but we aren't seeing them.
Right.
It's not being told to us what's happening.
Right.
But what's interesting is when I draw clarifying cards, I get all great cards. I get the Two of Cups. I'm using kind of an oracle deck, Affirmations of the Fairy Cats by Brenda June Sadak.
Cute.
Really cute. And I drew the card of balance. So I think whatever comes from this upset, we're going to find some really incredible ways of being able to use our resources in a way that benefits everyone. I think there's going to be a lot of maybe tax reforms.
That would be good.
Balance between, people trying to manage their supplies. Maybe there's going to be a way to get benefits from people who need to start up businesses. Maybe it'll be easier to start a new business.
Right.
The Page of Wands to me is all about inspiration, starting again, being able to get the support that you need to go forward.
Right.
And I think that's good news. And then the Two of Cups is really a great card for business partnerships.
Yeah.
Really being able to pool our resources together. So whatever we're going to go through this year, we're going to come out on top. We're going to be okay.
That card, the Seven of Swords, the things are being
The
done.
thief card.
The thief card, yeah. So you've heard about the governing bodies have been coming together talking about the Great Reset, and that what we're going to do is own nothing and be happy.
Oh,
Perhaps that's going to be invoked, and Americans will flip out if we don't own stuff. Like, I wouldn't want to be in a position where
no,
I
I don't
have a-
think I don't think we're going to go for that.
I'm just wondering if that will be the thing that freaks everyone out. Like, they'll try to explain it's going to work like this, and people are like, "No, I'm going to own my home."
Mhm.
Like, you're not going, and the whole idea behind the Great Reset is you just rent everything,
Mhm.
but that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know. I don't
It
know.
punishes those that have already worked really hard to have something.
Yes.
And it also penalizes people who maybe have that dream and they'll never have it.
Right.
Because there is something to owning versus renting.
Yeah.
You get to put your own stamp on it.
That's right.
And, you
Yeah.
get to do what you want.
Yeah.
But it could be something similar to that.
Yeah.
It could even be, really combining resources to do like a rainbow currency or something like that.
Yeah.
Crypto, we might be coming out with crypto and like other sources, maybe going back to the gold standard. Who knows? But I
Just
don't see
marching closer to the one world order.
Yeah, but the good news is I don't see the tower. I don't see complete
nothing-
poverty.
Nothing freaked out to me in the cards. They weren't
Um,
saying anything negative, but there will be some changes and some balance and some tricky things that need to be accomplished for everyone to be willing to come together and move forward. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think as long as, if Kamala does end up becoming president, as long as she doesn't ostracize the Republicans, which are half the country, they are. And so what I would love for her to do is to step into the role and listen to what they want and their concerns, and not just make it about the left. I would love for her to be able to find a way that both sides can work together and heal and be happy.
Well, we'll have to
So
see.
we'll see. And like I said, I'm politically neutral at this
Mhm.
point. I'm a registered independent, so I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying anything negative about the left. I'm just saying that both sides are needed for this to work,
Mhm.
and I hope she considers that with whatever she does if she becomes president.
Yeah. So I am really excited this year. I think we're going to have a lot of good things to look forward to.
I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good
And,
year.
I'm hoping that our listeners stick with us this year. We're going to have a lot of great ghost stories,
Yes, we are.
a lot of really fun, creative tales we'll tell.
Yeah.
And of course, we will do a spot check every episode on maybe the headline news and if, what we're seeing is coming true.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. That would be great. Well, bye, guys.
Bye. And there's something to be said for people's soulmates. Like if they do have a soulmate, they want to incarnate together in the next life. So they time it kind of.
I agree with
together.
that. But in my grandma's case, they were not even remotely soulmates. They fought pretty much their entire marriage.
That's soulmates.
Oh, you think so?
The fact that this publication has been in circulation since 1792.
The National Enquirer?
No.
Oh.
The Farmer's Almanac.
Oh, the farmer. I'm
Oh.
sorry. We took a
Okay,
break
Josh.
that lasted a little bit, and I completely forgot what we were talking
Shit.
about. Sorry.
No.
Reunited and it
Oh God! I
feels so
thought we were going to
good.
not have singing this season.
That isn't possible. You
Oh.
know how I communicate, Carol. It's best through song.
Parents bringing back clowns for their children's
Oh my
birthday parties.
God.
No, I'm kidding.
Wrinkles.
As the flames die down, do remain undaunted,
Though all hitchhikers are ghosts,
and all dolls are definitely haunted.
guys, be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @FiresidePhantoms. If you have a spooky story you would like to share with us, send it to firesidephantoms@gmail.com and you may hear it on a future episode.